Wanted to.
Downtown, had me downtown, so it's hot today. The world said.
The extent that the mayor wants to speak tonight, if you
Oh, yeah.
want to keep going with that.
Yes.
Yes, great idea.
Yes,
Yes, Wando, no, it's okay.
thank you.
Sorry, I'm left-handed.
Clerk was.
Yeah, we want to make sure it's set.
Yeah.
Oh, with this thing. It was, Zoom it in there?
Reading. Oh, we don't know.
Yes, Bob's here. I said hi.
Good evening, everyone. This meeting is being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, Chapter 231. An adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a notice sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and the Star Ledger, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the municipal website. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis, Councilmember Cassidy,
Present.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood. Here. Councilmember Forrest, Councilmember Janone. Present. Deputy Mayor Trigiano. Here. Mayor Portman.
I am here. Welcome, everybody. Sorry we got started a little late. I have a couple of proclamations I'd like to share with everybody. First, it's a proclamation for Women's History Month. Whereas in honor of Women's History Month, we celebrate all of the achievements and contributions women have made. Over the course of the history of our nation, women have played a crucial role in advancing social justice, led groundbreaking scientific discoveries, enriched our culture with remarkable works of art and literature, and charted bold directions in our foreign policy. And whereas the National Women's History Alliance, which creates and promotes National Women's History Month each March, has announced Women Who Advocate for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion as the 2024 theme. And whereas the theme recognizes women throughout the country who understand that for a positive future, we need to eliminate bias and discrimination entirely from our lives and institutions. Women from every background have long realized that an uneven playing field will never bring equality or justice. Many feel the critical need to speak up and work harder for fairness in our institutions and social interactions. And whereas we recognize the example of women who are committed to embracing everyone and excluding no one in our common quest for freedom and opportunity. They know that people change with the help of families, teachers, and friends, and that young people in particular need to learn the value of hearing from different voices with different points of view as they grow up. And whereas it takes courage for women to advocate for practical goals like equity, diversity, and inclusion when established forces aim to misinterpret, exploit, or discredit them. Throughout 2024, we honor local women from the past and present who have taken the lead to show the importance of change and to establish firmer safeguards, practices, and legislation reflecting these values. Following the decades of discrimination, we are proud to celebrate women who work for basic inclusion, equality, and fairness. Now, therefore, I, William Portman, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, do hereby proclaim and observe March as designated as Women's History Month and call upon the citizens to observe March as Women's History Month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities.
Woo.
Okay. Yes. All right, next up, we have a proclamation for Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States among men and women combined. And whereas colorectal cancer is one of the few cancers that can be prevented with timely screening, but 1 in 3 eligible Americans are not up to date on screening. And whereas colorectal cancer is estimated to be the #1 cancer killer for those ages 20 and 49 by 2030. And whereas Black Americans are 20% more likely to be diagnosed with colorectal cancer and about 40% more likely to die from the disease than other groups. And whereas colorectal cancer is expected to account for 11% of cancer deaths amongst Hispanic men and 9% of cancer deaths for Hispanic women. And whereas in 2023, there were approximately 153,020 new cases and 52,550 deaths from colorectal cancer. And whereas the national goal established by the National Colorectal Cancer Roundtable is to strive to increase timely colorectal cancer screening rates to 80% in every community for all Americans eligible for screening. And whereas observing a colorectal cancer awareness month during the month of March would provide a special opportunity to increase awareness and offer education on the importance of early detection and screening of colorectal cancer. Now, therefore, I, Mayor William Portman, do hereby proclaim March 2024 as Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and I invite all citizens to join me in recognizing and reaffirming our commitment to fighting colorectal cancer. I think Bonnie, are you here? Where's Bonnie? Yeah, come on up, Bonnie.
You?
I just did somewhere.
Just stuff. Thanks, Ladder.
I do have. Yeah, just look over.
Is that what's your phone?
It's someone.
There's. Oh, wait. Where's my? And how did I get her? I did, but I don't have that.
We can't hear you.
I'm sorry, just leaving this up here for people to look at, some more information on screenings and early detection.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Objectives.
Okay, next up, I'm gonna get to, what, do we have it here? The oath of office for, oh, it's on the table here. Okay, I'll come grab it. We're doing the oath of office for Elliot Ramos.
Coming up with.
Okay, family.
Laura, I don't see it here.
No, it's behind you, Billy.
Oh, behind me. There we go. All right. Want to, oh, there we go. You got it.
I'll stand up here for more.
Hello, sir. Congratulations. Hold that. Repeat after me, ready? I, Elliot Ramos Jr.,
Junior,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States.
and bear true faith and allegiance
Bear true allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments
to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
with the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
Solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
justly
perform the duties of Red Knight Police Officer
and the duties of the
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
best of my ability.
Get a photo.
Scott, like, smile when you with your teeth.
Hands up, big teeth. What about us?
Yeah.
It is something.
One over here, one over here. Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm family.
Right in here with your address, and then I'll sign it. It'll be official.
Sign your life away. Thank you.
Real quick, I just want to thank the mayor and council, as well as Borough Manager Jim Gant for all your support for the department. Much appreciated. I know the guys appreciate it. I appreciate it. Elliot, I want to say congratulations, and welcome back to the Red Bank Police family. We're happy to have you. You know, you have some big shoes to fill. Your father, I worked many years with him, your uncle Junior, many years with him. You know, Elliot's a retired detective lieutenant. You're the retired captain in the police department here, so you got some big shoes. I know you're gonna do a great job, and, you know, we're all here for you, support, whatever you need. All right, thank you. All right. Also, just want to thank the guys and girls from the department for all your support. I know Elliot and his families, you know, appreciate the turnout as well as I do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Boy, that was really cool, but if I'm being honest, I was hoping the retiring dogs might be here too.
Big ones in Disney.
All right.
In Disney?
Okay. Next up, we have a quick presentation, I think. You know, I'll give you guys a minute, so. On out.
Probably work someplace.
All right, thank you.
Whatever they take it.
I read it. I spoke, I didn't text her. Emily went to see her. Emily went to visit her.
Oh, wow. I gotta get my wife involved in the operation.
Is that?
All 60. We sent it over.
Yeah, she still do the 3 minute.
Yes.
Increase it.
Okay, I thought I saw Bob. Bob, are you here? Is
Thanks, Bob. Oh, there he is.
Ingenuity? Oh, you guys are both here. Okay. Why don't you guys come on up? We have a quick presentation on the Monmouth Street Parklet.
You and council.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I thought all of them were here for me.
Lucky they're not.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Bob Zuckerman, Executive Director of the Center, and I'm here with our one of my colleagues, Jeffrey King, from Ingenuity, the locally based engineering firm who we have been working with for a great new permanent parklet here in downtown Red Bank. I want to give you just a little bit of background first before we go into before we go into the elements of what this park is going to entail. But when I came here almost 2 years ago, I did notice almost immediately this sort of triangular area part of Monmouth Street, right at the intersection of Broad, that was just kind of an eyesore, to be quite frank. Yellow line, triangular in shape, with the plastic bollards protecting any cars and vehicles from entering. And I questioned kind of why that was. And what I was told by a former interim administrator is that during the pandemic, a lot of cars and vehicles were starting to double park there. I guess probably because of the quick pickups, no one was eating in restaurants, and cars and vehicles were, getting some pizza, Mr. Pizza, getting a salad at the salad establishment. And of course, that part of Monmouth Street. Not only are there lots of cars turning onto there, either right or left from Broad Street, but it's also a bus line. And we have 3 different bus lines that turn on that street. So, and just the nature of how the street is constructed. So they had these bollards there, and we came up with the idea, why not do something interesting? Why not do something cool there? That would benefit the entire public. So we thought about a parklet. And for those of you who are not familiar with what a parklet is, we use the term here at Red Bank for the outdoor temporary parklets outside of restaurants. We've been using the term streeteries, but that's essentially what a parklet is. Only this time we're looking to do something not temporary. It's basically a small public space that converts part of a street or a parking area into a pedestrian-friendly environment. They typically have seating, they have greenery, sometimes they have bike racks, and they're just a great respite for people who are downtown shopping or dining, and it's a nice day like it was today, and they want to sit outside and either have a quick bite or just sit outside and work on their laptop, or just sit down and meditate, or whatever they're looking to do. But just a nice area that is taking up, usually it takes up parking spots. In this case, it's taking up this unused area. So we decided we wanted to do a parklet. And I had the good fortune last year of applying to Main Street, New Jersey, since we are a designated Main Street community as well as being a special improvement district, for a grant for this. They were offering $25,000 grants, and I applied and actually was a little pushy and asked for 30, and they gave it to us. So we received a $30,000 grant, which would be used as sort of leverage, so starter to kick off what it would cost to construct such a park. And so we secured that money. We received half of it. The other half we'll receive this year. And we proposed to take those, Jeff calls them flexible delineators. I call them ugly plastic bollards. Same thing, to take those down. We called on Ingenuity, Jackie Floor, who's the principal of Ingenuity. Like I said, they're a Red Bank based firm. She's actually on our visual improvement committee. So we know her, we like her work, we like their work. So we went to them for sort of a design of what this public could be. And what Jeff's going to tell you in a moment, what we're looking to do here, but I think you're all going to like it. I will say one thing: there is one sort of a give back from the community, from the town, and that is one parking spot. We don't like taking away parking spots, but in this case, we feel that it's really integral to our plan. to be able to use the first parking spot, right after the triangular area. So, we are looking to take that away. But we think the benefits far outweigh, any damage from removing one spot. So with that as kind of a background, I'm gonna turn it now over to Jeff, who's gonna explain the design. Yeah.
So I'm just going into some more of the details, try not to bore you guys, go through it pretty quickly, kind of like the design process and then some of like the features that we're gonna add to this parklet. So kind of to start off with, the location of it, north side of Monmouth Street near Broad Street. We're basically the yellow triangle, we're taking it back 2 feet. And the reason behind that is because the NJ Transit bus needs to turn left onto Monmouth Street from Broad Street. So because of that turning template, we didn't want the bus to hit the curb or anything like that. So we took it 2 feet behind the yellow line and we're getting rid of the delineators. And then at the widest section, we're going 6.75 feet out. That goes right into the parking spot. So those are the 2 portions of how wide it's going to go. And we discussed with NJ Transit all about the entire project, and they approved a 20-foot area, basically in between 2 of the planting areas, and that's where the bus is going to stop, pick up people, drop people off, and then they have enough room for ADA access. So that's we got the blessing from NJ Transit, which is really good. And then some other features, some like brief overview, and then we go into more detail on each of them. So some of them were benches, tables, brick pavers that we're going to be including, bike racks. We're going to have a trash can. We're going to have lights, and then beautiful plantings, which will really lighten up the place, which I think will be really, really great. And the only thing we're going to be removing is a few unnecessary signs, which are basically for the parking, so they're not going to be needed anymore. And then we're going to remove the flexible bottoms as well. So next slide. We're going to go into a little bit of the tables and benches. So we came with this really, really cool company that we found some of their products that we really, really liked. So we have this Banquel style. We have 2 back benches, which you can see on the bottom left. That's out of Ipe wood, which is a nice wood finish that as it ages, it gets a little grayer. So it's going to look really, really beautiful. And then we're going to have 1 backless bench by itself. And then we're also going to have two backless benches around a table, which you can see on the bottom right. And then the steel is going to be powder coated. It's going to be like a dark gray, similar to the bottom right photo. And those will be throughout the space. So people can sit, and I think it'll be a really enjoyable place to sit, eat food, and everything there. Go next slide. So this is going to be some of the other site furnishings that we have. So we really recommended the brick pavers that are around the area. So right across the street, we have red brick pavers that are in this herringbone pattern. So we're going to continue that this entire area. So I think it's going to look really good and have a historic feel of Red Bank throughout this entire location. Also, we're going to have 2 bike racks at the west end beyond some of the plantings, which I think will be great for people to park their bike. They can go grab something to eat at the tables, the benches, be able to go on their way. So I think it's gonna be a really nice little addition. And there actually are the exact ones to the bottom right photo. There's gonna be powder sprayed black to match with the tables. And then in addition to that, we're gonna have a standard red bin trash cans to our people's trash, to have any trash anywhere. And then the light pole at that location is actually a little rough, I would say. So paint all over it, the paint's a little chipping. So we're gonna replace it in kind, so the same exact style is gonna be placed right back there. So I think it's gonna look very clean and new. And then on to the next slide. So this is the last part, or probably the most exciting part, is some of the plantings. We have 3 separate little planting areas. One portion goes along the triangle area. So when people turn on cars, you'll see the plantings first. So that'll kind of protect people from sidewalk. So I think it's gonna be really important to have that. Then we're gonna have one in the middle, in between where the bus stop, people get on and off, and then one all the way at the west end. So these, two of these planting areas are gonna have trees. They are, the tree at the top right. They are honey locust, sunburst honey locust, which are really, really beautiful light green. All of the planting areas are gonna have that tree guard. It's an iron tree guard, that top left photo. And that's gonna be put on all three edges of the planting, but not on the roadside edge. That's so people open their car door, they're not gonna hit it with the car and damage their car. So it's only gonna be keep people out from the sidewalk, getting into the plantings, dogs from getting in there, peeing there, pooping there, that type of thing. So that will be there to protect all the plantings. And I'll just go through some of the other plantings. We have the reed grasses, which is the middle row on the left. We have sweet flag, which is the middle row centered. Redhead, which is the middle row on the right. The Paris coral bells, which is the bottom left. Really beautiful flowers. So it's basically a combination of grasses and flowers, so they bloom all year long. This was all done by our landscape architect that was hired as part of the project. She did a really, really great job on it. And to continue, we have Japanese anemone and whirling butterflies. So I'll pass it back on to Bob to conclude.
Thanks, Jeff. Just a couple other points and then we're happy to take any questions that. One point you might be asking, who's paying for this? We are. $30,000 grant is going towards it. We're anticipating an estimated cost of approximately $80,000 for the entire project. And then another thing that people might ask is where are we sourcing all those gorgeous flowers, the plantings from, and that is from Lilies of the Valley, Danielle Boyle, who did fabulous planter beds on Wall Street last year. And hopefully more coming this year for fingers crossed, so that we can put them on other streets as well.
Anyone have any questions?
I just wanted to say thank you, Bob, for your focus on projects like this, in the SID. It's really nice to see River Center's funds used for infrastructure hardscape, physical improvement projects like this and like the beds that you incorporated downtown and everything. That's really getting back to the root of what a SID is for and what its purpose is, on top of the events and all the other incredible things that you do. But it's wonderful to see those funds go back into something that's so tangible and so real, and that is really gonna boost the downtown and the economy of the downtown. So thank you so much for your focus on this project. We really appreciate it.
Oh, what's the timeline?
So, I don't know, Jeff, what do you, I'm thinking that once we get started, which after tonight, we can get started soon. And I know that there's a Monmouth Street plan. We haven't seen the plans yet. I guess they're still in formation. I've been talking with Jim and Greg about that, but obviously we want to be part of that. Be able to weigh in on that plan as well. But it'll be done by the summer.
Yeah, it's like a few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
A few weeks, Bob,
Summer?
construction wise.
All right.
Great.
Hi, Bob.
I
I like the fact that you do have bike racks, because that's something I know the Environmental Commission was looking to put around town, and I do like that you chose Darrow, which is a simple bike rack, which would be able to, hold, I guess, at least 2 bikes to either side. I also want to thank you for doing this and making it attractive. One of the questions I have, do you have any idea of what kind of shading would be available? Or do you think it's needed based on the sun? I was just curious. I mean,
Yeah.
it's have to have any.
Yeah, so the 2 trees actually are strategically placed right underneath the trees. So
Okay.
you'll be able to get shade, right? Right from the trees. It's perfect.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? No? All right.
I just wanted to also thank Jim and Greg for the solution and for finding it and appreciate everything.
I think we have some questions from the public.
I'm happy to.
Yeah, if you're happy here, sure, I saw.
Good evening, Cindy Burnham, 701 Wallace Street. This sounds like a great project. I'm really excited about it. My question is, in regards to that utility box, that's, you know, hot pink lime green. What's going on with that? Can you paint that?
Is that the one
With
that's
the
more
stickers?
towards the corner?
You can't miss it. It's right there on the northeast corner.
Yeah, that one, we haven't touched it.
Yeah, but it's got,
We
it's,
can,
well, it's got stickers all over it.
Yeah, we
And
can-
it needs to be, if you're putting this beautiful thing in, we have to go. Stickers on it.
No.
well, that one has a mural on it, right? That from, I don't know how long that mural's been there, but I believe that box there has a mural.
Yeah, it does, but the mural also has stickers all over it, and when you're walking on the sidewalk, it's all got graffiti on it. Because I walk past it every day,
Right, right.
and I'm very aware of stickers. I hate stickers, you know, I hate stickers,
You know that.
mailboxes.
I do know that, and we will be responsible for the maintenance, and we will do our best to make sure that those things.
Well, just clean up that box is what I'm saying, that would be nice, because you're putting in such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. No, you, Georgine.
Regina Shanley, 115 Harney Road, Red Bank, New Jersey, 07701, full address. I just wanted to question why e-paint is being used. It's an Amazon rainforest wood. That's, it takes over maybe 500,000 years sometimes to grow. It can't be, a little sapling can't be taken and planted, reforested. Even though the Forest Stewardship Council might give the green light for that, they only are dealing with how well the forest is managed, not the destruction of the trees. So they're not regrowable. The Amazon is in seriously bad shape. And I would highly recommend using recycled plastic made in New Jersey if possible, a homegrown for benches. And also with, if possible, to use native plants, not the Japanese plants.
Yeah.
Plants in those more.
I'd also just recommend, and you may have done this already, but just to the trees that are being planted to run by the Shade Tree Commission, just to make sure that, proper planting zone and, the root systems and just make sure that that's run by them. Because they're, obviously the plan is the plan, but what goes where and can be adjusted throughout the process. So.
Just in response to that woman's question, I mean, the idea of it was presented to us as an option. The visual committee loved it, thought it looked great. It was durable and that's why we picked it. It's really quite a simple.
Nancy has a comment.
No, I'm not.
It's stupid.
Bill 64 Street, that junction there between Morgan and Broad is subject to some very tight turns by New Jersey Transit buses. Have we examined how, firstly, how close buses are going to travel? Because I mean, I use that junction 2 or 3 times a day. Cars can barely actually get into the right position on the road for the lights, let alone let buses travel around. And have you actually consulted with NJT to see if this will actually interfere or cause the bus fleet problems?
Yes, yes, yeah, so we have a program that we actually have an NJ Transit bus.
Do you choose the microphone so people at home can hear you? Thank you.
I'll repeat. Yeah, so we have consulted with NJ Transit. We did turning templates first. We have this program that basically an NJ Transit bus that they typically use, and we can turn it at the intersection. And we actually are 2 feet behind the yellow line and behind the existing bollards. So we're actually even further back than what is existing now, is what they would hit. So it actually is more space for the MJ Transit buses to turn. And then we approached them and we had to get their approval for this entire design to move forward. So they approved it and allowed us for their bus stop right here. Thank you.
Okay, Nancy, I know you had one more, right?
Bob, I would appreciate it if you could just send me a soft copy of this. I can share it with the Shade Tree Committee with the plantings and the Environmental Commission.
Happy to have
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, I think, anyone else? That's it. Thank you, gentlemen. Much appreciated. Looking forward to it.
Unfortunately, I can't stay for the entire meeting because I have Emerald evening. Girls' night out.
I don't want to hear your excuses, Bob. Okay.
I'm dancing with the girls.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have public comment on agenda items only. It worked well last meeting, so I'm going to ask that we limit comments to 3 minutes. And please just get up one time. So I'll turn the floor over to the public or a motion to open the floor for public comment.
I'll make such a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Okay. Yes. Yes, Steve.
Good evening, Stephen Heck, 135 Branch Avenue. I have a question about ordinance 2024-11. That's the pickleball tennis. There was no attachment that I could find with respect to the fees.
The ordinance references that the fees will be set, which are.
So you can hear what I'm saying to Jim. The ordinance references that the fees will be set by resolution. Sitting here, I don't actually know, I don't know when the last time that was done, but I know that Oscar does because he was conversing with me about them. The resolution is attached, it's not really part of the ordinance, but fair question is what the fees are. The fees aren't changing. Whatever that was last set by resolution is still in place, but I don't know what those fees are on the top of my head.
For these functions are many years old. But let me say this, if the council sees fit to pass this ordinance without knowing what the fees are, so be it. I would suggest that you wait on what the fees are.
Well, I think, so it's just to be clear, Stephen, the fees are set right now, like we're charging people for field permits, but I don't know, probably we've been charging them for years.
The purpose of this ordinance, if you see all the underlying parts,
Is really to set parameters to make sure that Red Bank residents get first priority for permits in the parks. And to make sure that people aren't playing pickleball at 1 o'clock in the morning, making noise outside, people's houses. I know that Oscar is.
Fees for those permits.
Okay, then there won't be going forward. I know that Oscar has been doing this as part of,
improving the rec department, so he may very well be back with.
The resolution for fees, but this was his request so that he could make sure that he was given
Red Bank leagues and residents and people, he had
the justification to
say that they have first priority, because it actually, if you read it, it wasn't in there.
I don't know if we could find out for your next meeting here.
Jim could email you or something.
We could ask him if he has any plans to change the fees and what the current fee schedule is, but that's not changing.
It's really just giving him the ability to make sure that he can give Red Bank
And not just
give it to a team that maybe has
members, whether adults or kids, from all over the place that just puts it under a Red Bank resident's name.
You saw that in there,
Yes, indeed.
which is a problem that you have because you got really nice fields here at Count Basie, more or less.
So that was his request to make sure that he was
Taking care of the residents pretty much.
Appreciate that.
Well,
And one other comment, if I may. Please, council people, get as close to the.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, in the back, ready.
Freddie Boyd, P.O. Box 207-4. Mayor, Council, I just want to know.
Can't hear you,
Can
Freddie.
speak in the microphone, Freddie?
Thanks, Freddie.
Freddie Boyd, P.O. Box 207-4. Just want to know on this agenda here, you don't have the four-way stop sign for River Street and Lake. I was told, at the last council meeting, well, before that, that if you don't understand, it's not on it. Want to know why?
Yeah, Jim, you wanna?
Commenting on the agenda items.
I'm not sure who made that representation that it would be on the council.
You did.
No, at the last council meeting, I instructed that we would, or I let everybody know, and thank you for bringing it to our attention, that we would be looking into and investigating the four-way stop at Layton.
And you told me after the council meeting, they on this agenda.
I couldn't have made that
I wouldn't-
representation.
I wouldn't sit here and tell a lie. Okay. I wouldn't sit here and tell a lie. But I done told all the people that will be on this agenda, and it's not on this agenda. And I gave you a permit, application for all the singers. I gave you a copy of it.
Mr. Boyd, we can't pass an ordinance until we have the study, so we don't have the study yet.
I spoke to him. It's going back. I spoke to him. Now, he said, we're on this agenda. He said, police and them came out and they, whatever they had to do, they did.
Now, I've discussed it
You
with,
know, it seems like when we get something done on the west side over here, it takes so long. You're dragging your feet. Go cross town over there. I could count 5 stop signs on the streets or 4-way stop signs over there. We're done and done. Why is you dragging the feet over here? You're gonna wait for somebody to get hit by a bus and get killed. Or you're gonna wait for a child to get hit by a car. Then you're gonna be sitting up here, what you should have done, what you should be done. It should be taken care of.
I can assure you, Freddie, that I've had discussions just as recently as
this past week,
with Captain Frazee about this process. So we are absolutely talking about this. I talked with,
What are you gonna talk about? Just saying, how long are you gonna talk about?
So we have a report, we can't.
It's not working.
Yeah.
Talking and getting this done is not working.
I
completely understand what you're saying, and I know that this is a priority of yours. And I've been taking it
It's just me. It's not just me.
would just like to finish what I'm saying.
that I know this is a priority of yours. I've taken it very seriously. And I've been discussing it with our engineers, the police, with traffic safety. These discussions are ongoing.
It's just that I need data.
In order to make decisions in the borough.
And by law.
And by
The
law.
motor vehicle code does not allow us to install, the motor vehicle code does not allow us to install a four-way stop without a traffic study. So we can move the parking around, we can do all kinds of things.
We went through that. It's supposed to have been studied on it. We went through that. Not the last council meeting, the one before. They had the documents, checked with the chief or whoever. They came over there, they checked with the code enforcement. They came over there and went through that. So what are we doing now? We're shucking and jiving now. That's what we're doing. That's what it is. Shucking and jiving now. We're passing the
I'm
buck.
sorry to see it that way.
One thing my
I guess
father
I'm right.
told me, and God bless him, and I'll never forget it. If you tell one lie, you gotta tell 1,000 lies, correct that one lie.
Freddie, how long did it take us to get the four-way stop at James Parker and Layton?
No time. It was done, no time. Serious, I'm not gonna lie. No time.
So,
Yeah.
It was done.
okay,
Cliff would throw them anywhere. That's legal.
anyone else? Yes.
I've got two questions, so I'm gonna try to talk really fast. One is in regards to the introduction 2024-10 to ordinance to exceed the calendar year 2024 municipal budget. In regards to the senior center and programming for active seniors, I had spoken to the director at the senior center. She said that we needed to get more budget. We had to budget more to have programs at night. Because this senior center caters basically to seniors during the day that want to just come in and play bingo and have lunch. And there's people like myself and Mr. Hill who are active. We ride bikes, we do kayaking, and you know, we want to be able to have like a potluck dinner over there or dancing once a week with an instructor. And so I just wanted to make you aware of that. And I hope you put some money in the budget for that. The other thing I want to ask about is, and Mayor Corbin, this kind of goes to you, in regards to that homeless shelter that they were gonna put over on Catherine Street in the Zion Church.
Yes.
And I heard that it didn't go through.
Right.
And I heard that you had suggested that they looked at the building on Mechanic Street. I think it's 250 Mechanic.
Yes.
So you're looking at 250 for a mechanic for a homeless shelter?
Well, first of all, yeah, it wasn't a homeless shelter. It was transitional housing for people who are, currently, in between homes. I just suggested that's something they could research. It's not something I've been involved with,
But I
yes,
just, I had heard that rumor and I wanted to know if it was true or not. So that's what,
yes,
just wanted to ask you.
yes, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Anyone else have a yes?
Hi, I'm Marta Young with Clean Water Action. I just want to thank you all for advancing the ordinance 2024-08. So thank you very much. And any time I can help, please let me know.
Great. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yes, go ahead, Alan.
Excuse me, Alan Hale, 64 McLaren Street. Going back to the budget just a little bit at the moment. I'm not certain why, perhaps the council will explain in the course of presenting their resolution, why this readjustment of the budget is actually necessary. Together with other parts of income to the borough, such as parks and recreation, but also items that are out of the control of the borough, such as the dreadful £1.8 million dollar shortfall in the budget for the local school boards. I think there is going to be a lot of this is going to be passed on to the residents of this town, unless you're going to tell me different. And with respect to the budget crisis for the schools, it's going to be quite easy for this council to say, you know what, it's nothing to do with us. But you know what, it is to do with you, because it is in this town. You see it important enough to actually appoint a liaison councillor to the school boards. It's important for the mayor to use the schools for his voting campaigns. It's important enough for you to join with the people of Red Bank to get down to Trenton and tell them we need our money for our schools. And I just want to know, have you got any intention of doing anything like that? Thank you.
I'll let Jim address the budget questions as far as the ordinance. But I did speak to Senator Gopal. I've signed on to a joint letter for Red Bank, Long Branch, Asbury, Neptune, because all of these districts were decimated by the funding formula for the schools. I know Dr. Rummage was in Trenton today testifying. I didn't get a chance to speak with him. Vin is optimistic. He said that he's going to be able to recover some portion of that funding back for the schools, because when you have, Red Bank and Long Branch and Asbury being devastated like that, and a school like Colts Neck or Little Silver, being 100% funded, clearly there's the formula is not working. So our state senator is on it and is told me that he did a conference call with the governor's chief of staff and Congressman Pallone as well this week. He's keeping us abreast of what's going on with the school funding. Jim, you want to address the
ordinance that's on is for the where we're talking about the
2469.
resolution, which would be for the temporary budget appropriations.
The temporary budget appropriations, obviously, we're still operating on a temporary budget. So the CFO has just recommended
Increases in the temporary budget, not beyond any appropriations that have been passed in the year. So it's just a matter of course, so that we can continue doing business until we pass a full 2024 budget.
Does anyone else have any comments on agenda items only? Yes. You guys match, I just noticed that.
Cedar Scully, 25 Cedar Street. I'm not speaking on behalf of the school board and I'm not speaking on behalf of the library. My question is on resolution 2469. In the graph part of it says temporary budget 2024, it's temporary budget 1124 and then increase 22824 to 32824 and then the total 2024. So is it saying that, if I'm reading this correctly, are you, like, for example, the first line is saying $75,000? Are you, well, I guess that's for 1/1, are you adding another $75,000 for the period of end of February to the end of March for the 150 total?
So it's not adding to it, it's just increasing the temporary budget. Because we're coming up on month 3 of operating the temporary budget where more funds are going to be needed. Now, this budget, what's included in the temporary budget is included in the overall budget as 2024 is adopted. So there's no increase to the budget overall, but we do have to increase our temporary budget because we're up against line items that have already been used, which is normal. An increase in the temporary budget is a normal course in municipal government.
No, I agree. I just want to make sure I'm reading it correctly
Okay,
because.
so it's not an increase of appropriations from like last year in that line item that you're reading. It's just an increase in our temporary budget for this year.
So for example, the rent levy board went from $1,968 to $15,031. Why such a jump?
The CFO made the recommendation for a certain amount of percentages for all the budget line items, and this is based on bills that are coming in. It's just to keep operating, within the budget confines that we already have. Again, this is normal course of these line items are not an increase to the overall budget of 2024 until that 2024 budget's adopted. So it's just a matter of course at this time.
I think what the way you're phrasing
Are you asking, is this an increase in the overall budget for like rent leveling?
But no, that's what I'm asking, because I'm just reading it as it is, it just says temporary then.
Right, I know, I can see where,
Just clarification.
Absolutely.
and I can see where the word increase is what could be confusing. However, it's just increasing our temporary budget to a number, we may even have to do this again, depending on when the budget gets adopted. But it's just so that we can keep operating and paying bills.
That's fair. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments on agenda items? Can we do it in the items at the end?
It's just a question. I see Mr. Gant is making an executive report at the end. Will we be taking comments and questions from the meeting?
So after the executive report,
And just for clarification, my report's to the governing body.
okay, I'm sorry, did anyone else have any other comments from anyone online, Laura? Who's checking?
One,
Okay, good, I'm glad I heard.
Linda. Yeah.
Hello,
Oh, there we are. Yes, we can hear you.
thank you. Linda Hill, 64 McLaren Street. Thank you, Mayor and Council, Mr. Gant, Ms. Rennertson, for the opportunity to comment. I appreciated Mr. Gant's explanation about the temporary increase in the budget. I am concerned as you begin the budget process that we are able to be as fiscally responsible as possible. I understand that, and it's great that Vin Gopal and others are working on our behalf in Trenton, but I still am concerned that the proposed draconian cuts to our state subsidies for our schools will still exist, that we will still see an increase in the burden on our taxpayers. So I would ask, as the budget process moves forward, for the council to, as much as possible, bear in mind that the burden on taxpayers is substantial. I'd also like to ask Mr. Gant, you mentioned the budget process. Would it be possible to have the budget timeline published somewhere on the borough website? What the process looks like, and you know, the various milestones, and when you expect to have it ready for presentation. Thank you.
Certainly, and I'll instruct our CFO to
Post that under our finance section.
Thank you.
and I plan to also address that in the manager's report.
It's online.
No, sir.
Okay, I have a motion to close the public comment on agenda items only.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next up, we're gonna approval of minutes and reports. I have a motion to approve the minutes from February 22nd, 2024.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve the executive session minutes from February 22nd, 2024?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next up is adoption of an ordinance. It says public hearing and adoption of 2024-08, amending chapter 492, plastics and polystyrene foam, single use, to prohibit the distribution of plastic food serviceware utensils and straws by food or grocery establishments and food service providers except upon the request of a customer. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing on this ordinance only?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone have any comments and additional comments to this ordinance? No? Anyone online, Jim?
Sir.
I have a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance only.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-08?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please, Laura.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Motion passes, sir.
Thank you. Next up is an introduction for 2024-10 ordinance to exceed the calendar year 2024 municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. Can I have a motion to approve this ordinance on introduction?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
We have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes,
Motion passes, sir.
thank you. The public hearing on this ordinance will be on March 28th. Next is an introduction to 2024-11, amending and supplementing section 478, Parks and Recreation, Article 6, fees and charges. Can I have a motion to approve this ordinance on introduction?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please, Laura.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes,
Motion passes, sir.
thank you. There'll be a public hearing on this ordinance on March 28th. Final ordinance to introduce is 24-12, amending and supplementing section 680-60, schedule 26, restricted parking for handicapped persons. Can I have a motion to approve this ordinance on introduction?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis,
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy.
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood,
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest,
Yes.
Councilmember Janone,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano,
Yes.
Mayor Portman.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Public hearing on this ordinance will be on March 28th. Before we do the consent agenda for the resolutions, is there anything that needs to be pulled out? Everyone take a look. We do them all on the consent agenda. Take a quick peek.
Everyone okay?
Okay, can I have a motion to approve resolutions 24-67 through 24-80 on the consent agenda?
Sure, I'll make this a motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call please, Laura.
Councilmember Bonatakis,
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy,
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood,
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest,
Yes.
Councilmember Janone,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano,
Yes.
Mayor Portman.
Yes,
Motion passes, sir.
thank you. We don't have any discussion action items. No. Okay, I'm gonna open the floor back up again, or can I have a motion to open the floor for public comment?
Make such a motion, Mr.
Have
Mayor.
a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'm gonna ask you again to hold your comments to 3 minutes, and the floor is yours for whatever you would like to speak about.
You have one online as well.
I saw a couple hands in the, so we'll start with
Jimmy.
Georgina, that's you.
Virginia Shanley, Red Bank, New Jersey, you know. I'm here tonight to plead with you to pass a ceasefire resolution, a permanent and immediate ceasefire resolution to stop the killings in Gaza, for humanitarian aid to get through, and to, what is the other one? And for the safe return of the hostages, and also the Palestinian political prisoners since October 7th. You have given two reasons why you will not consider this. One is because it would cause divisiveness in the town. And the other is that only local issues are considered, in spite of the fact that we are paying taxes. Red Bank citizens pay taxes that are going towards the military expenditure in Gaza. And how many times in history have we said, oh, I wish I were there and I could have done something, like the abolition of slavery? Would we have spoken out? Would that have caused divisiveness? Would we say that's not a local issue? With the roundup of Japanese families for internment camps, would we have spoken out or done anything about it, or just say, okay, it doesn't affect us, so we're not going to get a part of this, we're not going to get involved? Even the Jewish Holocaust. Was there something we could do during that time? And because it would cause divisiveness, and because it's not local, we refuse to do it. And our elected leaders are just doing lip service to us. We have President Biden who's admonishing Prime Minister Netanyahu, don't kill any more civilians. Allow humanitarian aid. And in the meanwhile, he's supporting military aid without any conditions on human rights or how it's used. And we have to work city by city with local groups, with local state governments and local governments like you, to put pressure on our elected officials. We don't have any choice. As individuals, we're kind of insignificant, although I don't totally believe that. But I think with the help of the power behind, oh my God, the power behind the city government and the state, it has definitely more leverage. Right now in New Jersey, in Englewood, Ridgewood, there are private sales in synagogues to Jewish people only of settlers' homes, illegal settlement homes in Gaza, in the West Bank. This is all going on right now. The homes that are built illegally in in Palestine are being sold by Keeler Williams, Texas-based real estate company. The Palestinians, would somebody cede me a minute who's going to speak?
You can finish it.
All right. The Palestinians, we cannot be intimidated, first of all, by non-factual notions that to be anti-Zionist is to all just translates to being anti-Semitic. That's not true. And also, the Palestinians deserve life, liberty, and freedom, just like we would in our everyday life. These are the indigenous people of Palestine, and it's about time that we respect them and give them back their homeland. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
I hope you do the right thing. It'd be good to have a straw vote sometime.
Thank you, Georgina.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm sorry, Jimmy did have his hand up before that. Jimmy is ceding the floor to you.
The gentleman's come.
Hi, Bob.
Barbara Boas, 135 Branch Avenue. Two quick questions. When you just did the resolutions, you left out 2481, you sent to 2480. I was wondering why, if that was just a slip of the tongue, Mr. Mayor, or.
I missed those on the back. Thank you. Good point.
Go back and do the other.
It goes to 2480.
What's that?
I had it 2481.
2480.
I think he's in a folk.
Ah,
I have an old version. I only goes up to 2480.
Right here, yeah.
thank you, good catch. We will add it in shortly.
I read a lot of things, I catch things. My next question is, there was a discussion about the county road and the crosswalk. Walks, hopefully, on Branch Avenue. Have we gotten any further with that, anybody?
The updates, yeah.
I mean,
This is a county road. right?
temporary markings are wearing on.
Looks like- It's on the, over on the east
I mean,
side.
all of it's gonna get covered when we meet with the county commissioners in the next month, so.
From my end, I'm sorry, I don't have an update, but I know that the governing body's working with the commissioners.
Yeah, we've actually been in touch about a few other spots with the county engineers on the planning board, so, we need to, yeah, let's try, yeah, we'll sit down and put a list together, because it's not the only,
Learning days are getting long.
it's not, yes. There's no shortage of crosswalks that are needed on both county and state roads.
Items to talk to the county commissioners about.
Yeah, I called, about 6 months ago, I called the county. And they put me on hold and sent me to here and sent me to here and sent me to here. And the last guy I spoke to, I think he was, I don't know, he just was there to open the windows or something. Because he said, well, you know, this is not something that this department does. It was the roads department. And I said, well, I didn't know whether you did it, but I figured you might know who did. And he said, no, I don't know who did.
I will follow up, and feel free to email me and remind me. Yes, perfect, all right.
I've got a door.
Well, I have 22 seconds. Which one I was in.
Thank you. Yes, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Jimmy Darth Wood here, West Cincinnati. Pushing up, really want to clear something down. His former councilman, Michael Bell, said, put West Cincinnati, it's going to be cleaned up and cash, and no part at all.
Is there a question?
Yes, but I mean, for the West Sunset, when it's just gonna be cleaned up and capped. And I would just want to be reference to does vacant land need a name, you know, as far as West Side Park? So I'm just wondering, is it gonna be, just be clean and capped and nothing else?
There has been no further discussion on that since the last time I think we spoke about it, when they were laying out their remediation process and capping it, but there's no plan at this point. There's nothing else that's being planned to be done at Sunset, down at the end of Sunset.
So the stage of the environmental, it's at the investigatory stage. So before you can clean up an environmental site, you have to determine the extent of the pollution that's underground. So there's a remedial investigation work plan. That's the next step in this process. And then whether it's capped, dug down 60 feet, whatever the remedial action plan is that's developed from the remedial investigation work plan, then we'd be able to say it's X, Y, or Z. But it's likely you have to monitoring wells. It's going to take a significant period of time for them to investigate what actually needs to be done out there. So that's the stage we're at right now.
So any further thing, it will be listed on, I mean, put on the list.
Yes, we're gonna have to, there's gonna be a lot of approvals for expenditures between now and then. Yeah, you'll definitely see it.
I know Jimmy's concern too, is he wants to make sure that if we're doing any work down there, if we start the remediation, we let the neighbors know with flyers. Not everyone there has internet access.
And I've discussed that with Shauna, our Director of Community Development, who's working with VHB, which is the professional service that's working this project, to make sure that she coordinates a notice to the residents down there. So Shauna has been put on notice for that as well. So I'm directing that with her office so that the residents do get notification down there. And I don't think you were at the last meeting, but I did mention in my report that I was thankful you brought that to our attention, because Shauna is working on that now.
And you know, one other thing I want to do is for a long time, a lot of the towns have it on TV, you know, on television. Well, can they look into this by putting a council meeting on one of the stations?
You mean like on public access versus the internet versus online?
Yes.
I don't know what access we have.
We'll look into it.
Yeah, actually, I met a guy recently who said, what's his name?
I forget his
Yeah,
name, but we.
He's like, I'm a single issue voter. I just want public access television, so.
A lot of times you turn on TV.
Yeah.
And turn to the wrong channel and he'd be, put it on, it's on TV. But thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
I don't have a new channel. Graphics.
Suzanne Story, 25 Cedar Street. My first thing is, I've noticed, and I've brought it up in the past, there's intersections or, the paint on the curb are not yellow. It doesn't match the avoid park, do not park here to the curb. So there's people parking, so it's during the view of making turns. So, it seems to be more prevalent now. The one suggestion at the intersection of Dr. James and Bridge Avenue, that crazy weird turn. Maybe put ballers up on the side by lunch break, because that is, I got loads of pictures of it backing up, people dropping things off, but it's hindering that weird turn. So you can't have a view to make a right turn safely or a left. It's that weird, it's not even a straight, crossover street. It's that weird bend in the turn. So I'm assuming you guys want it to be safe. I would love to hear all your opinions on a local issue with the Oprah request. I guess this past Monday, a Senate bill and Assembly voted on legislation about changing some of the rules on the Oprah Act for us to get information. I'm just wondering if you guys support it or not.
Certainly, I was going to address it in my my comments at the end, so I'm happy to.
What about the other council members besides you?
I don't know. You'd have to.
If you guys support the bill or not?
Right. I guess if they want to address it, they can also address it in their comments. as
Yeah,
well.
no, I would love to hear their feedback, because it does affect them and the governments of the town. So here is an opportunity. Anyone?
I'll comment in my remarks.
Yeah.
All right.
Of course. Okay. Anyone else have any comments or questions?
Yeah, there's one other person.
I think Freddie's coming up and I'll get to you. Hold on one second, sir. Freddie was coming up. Go ahead, Fred.
Freddie,
About 274, for anyone. Get back to the, west side.
Yeah, put your microphone.
Just gotta get real close.
Hard to hear, Freddie.
Get back to the, for the sunset. You mentioned young lady upstairs. Last time the young lady talked about that, she wants to make a park there. And Long Branch, behind First Baptist Church. They dug. Sam Mills, football player. Funeral was up here on Tower Hill. That's how big it was. They were put a priest to funeral. All those people down there got sick. Some of them had a big lawsuit. And it's still contaminated down there. Right here on Dr. Parker Boulevard, next to the field. Daycare center. 10 years, they dug that. Kids can't go out there and play because the stuff's still coming to the surface. Still coming up. But now. Right now, it's still coming up to the surface. And when you stay down here, Michael Ballard sat right over there twice. He said, Jimmy, I'm telling you, it will not be a park at the foot of Sunset. So we don't want to wait till the last minute. Then Charlotte come in here, oh, it's a park down there. We're gonna make a park down there. No, I'm just telling you. I used to live right by that foot of Sunset. Every man that worked for the sanitation department worked in that incinerator, they are no longer living right now. They're no longer living right now. Because it was enclosed, they had to clean out down there. So you don't know what they had breathed and this and that. So I'm asking, it should not be a park, no matter who say it should be a park down there. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello, good evening. My name and my place of residence is in the intro of my statement, if that's okay.
Thank you, sure.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Good evening, Red Bank Council. My name is Vegan Zarabian, a resident of Monmouth County for 35 years and a Red Bank resident at 185 Maple Avenue for the past 11 years. I am of Armenian descent, and through DNA heredity test, I discovered I am part Italian and part Jewish of the Mizrahi. Tonight, I come to you about the extermination that is happening to the Palestinians in Gaza by the hands of Zionists. The Zionists have been annihilating the Palestinians since 1948, and it has culminated to the worst humanitarian crisis in the past 5 to 6 months that is considered as genocide under UN Charter articles. Well over 30,000 Palestinians have been murdered, a majority women and children, plus health workers and UN aid workers. The Palestinian genocide has also affected people here at home, where on February 25 of this year, Aaron Bushnell, a military serviceman, immolated himself. Before setting himself on fire, he confessed that he will not be complicit to the genocide that is happening to the Palestinians. And after setting himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C., he screamed for a free Palestine. I implore the Red Bank Council to accept and pass the resolution presented to you for immediate permanent ceasefire, which was written by Georgina Shanley, which I have gotten to know her this past week and concluded that she is Braveheart. Thank you for listening. And also I want to add from what Georgina has said about the Japanese internment camps and and slavery. There was a moment in US history where a ship of German Jews was shipped to our coast and they were rejected, they were denied entry. Please do not let this happen again to the Palestinians. This is a humanitarian crisis and it's important to be human about this. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Stephen Hank, 135 Branch Avenue. Up to here for clarification. For me. My understanding is that resolutions come from the governing body. Unless there is on the ballot a question about a question, public question. So resolutions do not come, and I'm asking the question, resolutions do not come from the public. They come from the governing body. Is that correct?
I can answer the different processes and ways that a resolution can come about, because I've introduced a fair amount of resolutions. There's advocacy groups that write resolutions, so what Regina has been presenting to us is completely normal. There are people that have initiatives or causes and they want that resolution to be considered by a governing body. So that's completely normal. Advocacy groups write resolutions. There's template resolutions, boilerplate resolutions that got passed. They can be introduced to a council member. They can be asked to spearhead it or introduce it. Does that help?
Certainly it helps. I'm not particularly responding to any other citizen here tonight. The resolution has to be presented. Is it to the council or by the council? That's
You can present something to a council, but then at the end of the day, it has to be presented by the council.
Okay.
Once it has to be voted.
Question.
Yes.
So the council needs to respond to inquiry.
Yes.
Suggesting what have you.
Yes.
And it's the council that issues the resolution.
That's correct.
And then votes on it.
And would take action.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
My name is Steve Benishell, resident.
See right in the microphone too.
Why not?
Yeah, there you go first.
It's hard for me to understand why there's difficulty in passing a resolution calling for an end to the murderous rampage in Gaza. In towns and cities in New Jersey and throughout the United States, ceasefire resolutions have been passed without a major or even a minor resolution. As a physician, I am appalled with the treatment of patients and healthcare workers and the destruction of hospitals in Gaza. A few days ago at Nazar Hospital, Israeli Defense Force attacked and physicians were made to strip. Humiliated muzzled dogs were set upon them and they were forced to kneel in comfortable positions for hours. They were detained for days and screams were heard by witnesses while they were brutalized. Patients were left untreated without medical care, and while the medics were taken away, many of the doctors thought that they were going to be executed. As a Jewish person, I have always been proud of my culture, which is based upon fairness, justice, compassion, and tolerance. What I am seeing is the US-backed Israeli government in the name of Jewish people losing. The victim becomes the victimizer. I appeal to you, our elected representatives, to restore these values by stopping the killing of civilians. Release Israeli hostages and prisoners since October 7th and allow full humanitarian aid to the starving and the dying. We need immediate and permanent ceasefire. I would also request that maybe public comment be extended for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
So my name is John Pugh, from Medicine, New Jersey, 219 West Shirley Avenue. I'm just here to support Regina and folks here asking for a resolution. I was here a couple months ago. We passed the resolution supporting the Robert Johnson nurses on the project. And to me, the resolution is a reflection of the values of the community. It's also a way to urge our higher officials to co-sponsor resolutions or laws that are important to us. So we know that Nicole Powell has co-sponsored the state staffing bill for nurses, and we really appreciate him for doing so. And we would like our representative here, Frank Love, to co-sponsor HR 786, which is the ceasefire resolution introduced by Cori Bush from the Congresswoman from Missouri. So I think there is a precedent for supporting these type of resolutions. We know a lot of young people are supporting Palestine at this time. What happens is they are seeing the images coming from social media, from TikTok. There's a push to ban TikTok right now. Young people aren't really understanding what's going on in the world and over Gaza right now. There are a lot of children who are being amputated without any painkillers. Their limbs are being amputated because of the bombs. There are mothers who are giving birth without the anesthesia. It's really, and there's many children just starving there. There's blockade, there's the food trucks are being blockaded right now as well. So it is a really dire situation. I think, I think during when the Iraq war happens, I think, it would be great if local governments came out opposing it. At the time, it might not have been easy to do that, to do so. Looking back on it, we saw that over 1 million Iraqi lives were lost because of a war that was unjust, that was unproportional, and also that was misplaced. We all know that 9/11 was horrible, but the Iraq war was not prevented. And this is what we see right now going on in Gaza. So that's why I do believe the resolution is important.
Thank you. Anyone online, Jim?
Hello. It's Linda Hill again at 64 McLaren Street. I had 3 short items that I wanted to address. First, I want to endorse Georgina's comments, specifically because when October 7th happened, and it was heinous. It was against humanity. And I think most thinking people were outraged about what happened. And at that point, Mayor Portman, you used what I would call your bully pulpit, your position as mayor and the letterhead of the borough to express that outrage. And I wouldn't have objected at all. I think that was appropriate, and I think it reflected the feelings in town. But now what Georgina is bringing up is entirely just as valid. There are crimes against humanity happening in Gaza. And since you opened up that Pandora's box of commenting on what's happening in the Middle East now, I think you're obligated to also address what's happening in Gaza to Gazans. So if you, and I realized the first time around, it was not a resolution from the Borough Council. Perhaps, Mayor, a way to resolve this might be for you to do the same thing you did for October 7th and issue a statement that says, you know, this is heinous and I do not support it. And we will, of course, protect any Middle Eastern Gazan citizens or houses of worship that come under attack. So may I suggest that as a way to diffuse what I think is rightfully a big concern. That's number one. Number two is I'd like you in the spirit of open government to ask the borough clerk to refrain from using next request to answer Oprah inquiries. I know that not everybody is into Oprah, but when in the past, when Ms. Reinertsen responded to Red Bank residents' queries, it would occur on the Oprah machine, and everyone could see her response, or whichever body was responding in the borough. But now that the borough has switched to using next request, those responses from Ms. Reinertsen and the borough are no longer public. They go to an offshoot website, and it is hidden from anyone else who might want to know the answer. So that's number two. I really would like you to consider that. And number three is I would like to publicly thank the local PBA and the rank and file police officers who had the courage to speak up last year at a council meeting and give the residents a glimpse of some of the really horrible things that were happening behind the scenes. I'm very glad for them that this has been resolved, and very glad for Red Bank. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, I remember, my name is Gabriella Green and I'm from Howell. I know last time you guys addressed our concerns with 2 reasons, this not being a Red Bank issue, and you didn't want division in the community. And I had spoken about how advocating for the sanctity of life really shouldn't be a dividing matter. I also have some statistics of the tax dollars that are locally coming from Red Bank that are going to Israel every single year. In Red Bank, New Jersey, $220,652 are going to Israel's weapons yearly. They could instead fund 26 households with public housing for a year, 76 children receiving free or low-cost health care, 2 elementary school teachers, 628 households with solar electricity produced for a year, 5 students with their loan debt canceled, and 191,871 N95 respirator masks for our healthcare workers. I feel like that in itself shows that this conflict goes deeper than just being a global thing, and things usually get solved with one tiny first step. I mean, I know that your resolution isn't going to change anything in the world, but it will be a first step to bringing about better things. I also wanted to bring up how Israel has been weaponizing food, medicine, and water. I mean, people aren't able to even just collect rainwater outside. I mean, if you're living there, you should be allowed to collect water, especially if you're dying or close to dying of dehydration. Since I last saw you, I have seen multiple pictures of children who died of starvation. I mean, there was no muscles on them. It was just skin and bones. Their eyes were not even white anymore. I mean, that is horrifying. And like I said last time, these people are starving to death in the north. They're being bombed in the south. There is nowhere safe for these people. This should not be a dividing matter. It should be something that brings people together to want to advocate for people to live and to be able to live a good life, not just survive, to actually live. I don't agree with what you guys said last time, because personally, I do think that it is a red bank issue, as this money could be used for the community rather than going to the other side of the world for an inhumane and unjust genocide, not even just a war. These people can't fight back, and they really haven't been able to. And as we see, over 40,000 people are dead, 70,000 people are injured. It's going up and up and up as more time goes on. It's an urgent matter. So I came here tonight just to plead with you guys to reconsider your answer from last time. Thank you.
Thank you. Someone online.
What?
Yep, there you are.
Okay. Barbara Monahan, 30 Pinckney Road, Red Bank. This is the difference. When Israel was attacked, there weren't two sides to that issue. There was no conflict. Everyone sympathized and found it heinous. In this situation, there's a great deal of conflict, politically, religiously, and while my heart goes out and I pray it can end, I don't feel you as a group should represent me there. It's my individual choice to support that or not. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have comments? Anyone else online, Jim? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public comment?
Make such a motion.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, should we make a motion to reopen the resolutions to?
Yeah, I was gonna, well, I don't know, do we have to reopen them?
Can we just vote on that one resolution,
You
Laura?
could just vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had resolution 24-81 authorizing the settlement of tax appeals pending before the tax court of New Jersey. Can I have a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Tracy Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Okay, Mayor and council comments, I'm just gonna kick it off. I know I addressed some of this in, during the public comment. So I pretty much covered the school budget stuff. Sue had asked me where I stood on the Oprah legislation. I'm not a fan of it. I think what the borough was trying to do here was we were getting a lot of, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but we were getting a lot of requests for people that they were making web content from the Oprah request, and it would take us a lot of time to compile these requests. So I believe we just put in a fee structure. That's how we were dealing with it, Laura, wasn't that? That was last year.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, I think the complaint was about the computerized system that we've implemented to answer Oprah requests.
Right.
You know, many towns use it. I know that Oprah machine is the one that's out there. I can tell you that from a staff standpoint, the workflow.
You're done, Greg.
The workflow between the staff here to more quickly respond to requests within the 7 days and be able to communicate with each other through Next Request. What the public doesn't see on Next Request is that all of the staff members can be instantly added. So if there's something that has to be reviewed by the borough attorney, I get an email every morning reminding me to do it before your 7-day deadline. And so do all the other staff members that Laura assigns. So, and I thought that had every request that's been fulfilled on there available.
Are published.
I was gonna say, I mean, on a section of Next Request, it does the same thing as Oprah Machine. It publishes all the list of every request by number for the entire year. So they are available to the public on there. And I'll let the clerk speak for herself, but I know from my perspective, in terms of reviewing and getting it back and getting it out to the public, next request has allowed us all here to do that a lot faster behind the scenes.
I can tell you, sir, that it's a lesser of the requests, a small percentage of them come in through open request. Most of them will come in either through emails or whatever. Now that we're using Next Request, everything gets put onto Next Request. The Oprah machine ones, emailed ones, whatever comes in, gets put into Next Request. And once it's fulfilled, it's then published. So anybody can see it, anybody can search it.
Thank you. But to answer your question, Sue, that you brought up earlier,
The bill.
what's that?
Senate.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Senate bill. I'd like I'd like the access to be made easier for people to see what's going on, rather than more difficult. There's one other thing that I wanted to talk about that didn't come up today, and that was the proposed fare hikes on New Jersey Transit by the governor. Again, these fare hikes are disproportionately affecting those who can least afford it. I think that there's got to be a better way to make up the budget shortfalls rather than on the backs of the working poor and the working class people. It definitely affects us here in Red Bank because we are a train station town. I'm not optimistic, to be honest, that anything is going to change about it. But I definitely wanted to be on the record as not supporting it. Yeah, I think that's it. We'll go around the horn, Christina.
Yes, thank you. I thank you, Mayor, for mentioning those two items, the fare hikes. I think that is really problematic at this time against certainly the things that I would hope to see in transit and its funding. But also, to be fair, this is an item that's not before us. Oprah also, I'm not a huge fan of what we're seeing in the Senate, but those aren't local items. So I just, at the same time, do want to say that I do appreciate folks that have come out to comment this evening and previously, also for respecting the process that we have here, regardless of what comes of it. I thank you for coming out and speaking, I think, from the heart on issues that are very grave. So.
I got a few things. Housing Authority met on Tuesday. Progress. They've been continuing on their work with renovations, with going out for new for professional services. And I know that they have now created a partnership with the Community Equity and Engagement Committee. Pat Pinto approached them to bring in a art therapy program that'll be offered at least once for free, and if not from there more. But there's some nice work being done, and there's some good community partnerships forming. Not long ago, we had the annual Firefighters Awards Dinner, and I'd like to acknowledge the 2023 Firefighter of the Year, Mr. Michael Green, served Red Bank admirably, not just this year, but in the last several years. He was well deserving of it, and Liberty Hose is proud to have had a member achieve that accomplishment this year. Before I get to the comments on Oprah, I'd like to acknowledge also, speaking about community and community engagement, every once in a while is like a business that just blows me away. And I want to acknowledge Short Gamers. If you have a community group, they're just doing really great things to build community and create new spaces in this town. I'm just really impressed by what they're doing. They're a real add to downtown. I want to echo the mayor's sentiments on our support of the efforts of Senator Gopal regarding the school budget cut. It is alarming, and at the point that the supervisor, that Mr. Rummage, Superintendent Rummage, or Senator Gopal would require or ask for further engagement from our body to step forward where they feel that we should do so, I am more than prepared to do so on behalf of the borough and on behalf of our school children. And to sue with Oprah, I've made tremendous as a documentarian and as a journalist, I've made a lot of a lot of my work has covered around the country about access to information, sunshine laws, Oprah, and just whatever they're called in various jurisdictions. And I've had very varied experiences where I've gone around the country, and it's integral to a free press, not just to the community. And it is very important to the community. And I do understand why someone was trying to create some sort of reform, because there have been people trying to abuse it. It used to be there was people trying to get cell phones and for political purposes and trying to get it for advertising lists. This particular statute went too far, and I did not support it. And I do not support a significant retraction of Oprah, but where there can be reasonable reform, but just to address those blocking out commercial interests, I would support that. But if that can't happen at the cost of a free and open access to our government and a free and open press in this country, and if that's the trade-off, then I guess we'll live with some extra marketing. And I appreciate everyone's comments tonight, and I appreciate everyone speaking from the heart. Thank you.
First, I want to thank everyone for speaking tonight on the issues that you have. We are hearing, we're listening. Then I want to move on to the Oprah bill. I do understand, can you guys hear me? Do I need to get closer? Okay, looking at Steve for this. I understand today that the Oprah bill as it was pulled, which is good because I did not support that bill either. What I would be in favor for, if they do want to make changes to the Oprah bill, is that a comprehensive look is done. And there have been some recommendations. And I think that would even be supported by the League of Municipalities, which would be for an Oprah commission to thoroughly examine Oprah. Where is it working, where it's not working, before trying to, for want of a better word, shove a bill through the assembly, which I was not in favor. The other thing we have is the Environmental Commission is going to have its annual Green Fair, and it's going to be held on Monday, the 22nd of April, between 5 and 7 p.m. at the Red Bank Middle School. The children will be there showing their work. We will have tables there with all sorts of environmentally or family-friendly things there to do. I don't know if there's a trash and show or not, because that's usually the big hits, but it's going to be a good night. So we do hope that you're able to come out. Let's see, I do support what the mayor said about the New Jersey transit hikes. I believe that it is putting the burden on the people who need access to transit the most. And I really don't think that's fair. So I just wanted to say that as well. And that's all I have. Thank you.
I'll start with Oprah. I don't agree with the Oprah changes that the Senate proposed, or whatever it is. I don't want to repeat all the reasons that were said, but the mayor and David represented it pretty accurately. Can I live with some tweaks to prevent people from, getting all the videos from the police department of people being arrested for DWI and then posting it on some commercial website, just for entertainment? I guess if they could find a way to do that, it would be nice. But, government should be open and accountable. So that's it. That's my answer, Sue, for your question. On the school situation, I think the mayor is doing a good job representing us on this issue. I know that we're calls for us to say things immediately, but I've been in touch, and I know the mayor's been in touch with Dr. Rummage, and I plan to be at the Board of Education member at the Board of Education meeting on Tuesday as our liaison to the Red Bank Borough Public Schools. And of course, we're going to work in conjunction with them to try to get that funding restored. It is ridiculous that we have to go through this exercise all the time. It is interesting that small districts and districts where we have had funding challenges for, 30, 40 years, continue to be targeted with this sort of nonsense. Switching to my role as the liaison to the Parks and Recreation Committee, I just wanted to remind everyone that our annual Easter egg hunt on March 17th, and Sunday, so a lot of people are there. The Camp Base, Camp Base, yes. Mayor, are you gonna be there? Sure, I might go. Also, Parks and Rec would like me to remind everyone, if you want to play pickleball, please use the online registration system. That's on our website. We also have a phone number you can call for any questions on that, 732-530-2782. Apparently our pickleball is very popular, Mr. Mayor. And that's all I have, sir.
All right, Laura.
Can everyone hear me? Excuse me. I agree with my colleagues and the mayor on the Oakville law and also the work we're doing with the school budget. I don't think we should have to fight for it every year, but I think we're doing the best we can right now with Senator Van Gopal and Dr. Rummage. I just wanted to report on a few things. I was very excited to attend an all-day webinar with Rutgers in health and all policies. Some of you know that I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse since 1976. And we are looking at putting more ways to put health into our resolutions and things that we do in our town, where we could make it more sustainable New Jersey. And they did give us a lot of great information, case studies, and ways to go about doing that. Animal Welfare Committee, I'm the liaison to that also. So we have changed the time of our meetings. One of our members has a conflict because he happens to be a firefighter. So we changed our timing. It'll be the second Tuesday every month, right here in the municipal hall here. Paul Pareto, who's the chair of the Animal Welfare, met with Jim Gant, our business manager, this week, and we talked about a lot of different issues that we brought forward from the animal welfare, and Jim's helping us with those. We also had realized we had to find an alternate site for dog days, which is September 7th, because Marine Park might be under construction then, probably will be. So we're looking at different venues for dog days. We're also still having our another food drive for cats and dogs that we have a food drive and then we bring it to lunch break. We're going to have another one in the spring. The library met last week last meeting when I was here, so I'm the library liaison too. But I did talk to the director there, and she reminded us that Maker Day is this Saturday. It's come to the library and there's lots of first field day of fun, interactive for all ages. Saturday, March 16th, edible art, sensory silhouette, buttons and magnets, lots of coding activities, and it's free and it's for all ages. I also want to thank everyone who came tonight, talked about the problem in the Middle East. I am a nurse. I hear what you're saying. I feel terrible about it, but I really appreciate you coming, bring us up to date every time that you do come. I really feel that it's important that the public hears. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
No report.
Okay, Jim.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to congratulate our DPU employee, Mike Conlon, on his promotion to Buildings and Grounds Foreman after our interview process. Mr. Conlon's taken over that role now as of this week. We are currently scheduling interviews for the replacement of our mechanics foreman in DPU for next week after the retirement of Rich Hardy a few weeks ago. Over the last few weeks, I've met with our school superintendent, Dr. Rummage, to introduce ourselves and discuss our interoperability and areas where we can continue working together. I've also met with the Community Engagement and Equity Committee Representative Pat Pinto and our Animal Welfare Advisory Committee Representative Paul Proeto. Yeah. And Dr. Genome to hear their work and make our introductions as well. Excited to look into the prospect of bringing a new program to the borough called Violytics. Violytics would assist with our road and bike lane program mapping, our condition assessments, our asset management, and our infrastructure identification, all in one comprehensive program, which I think it would be really beneficial to us to make data-driven decisions on our capital programming, so our money's being well spent. It's a pretty neat program. I was happy to demo that. They've actually done a pilot in Red Bank. It's a company that started in Europe, and they're getting on board in the United States and have picked up other municipalities in New Jersey, including Lakewood. So I've reached out to the Lakewood administration to see how they've liked using the program. It actually uses iPhone in our borough vehicles. So when those vehicles are traveling around the borough and GPS and GIS mapping, it maps the condition of the road, the assets on the road as far as our park benches, our garbage cans, stickers on signs. It even identifies stickers that are on signs and electrical boxes so that we know where to go out and actually handle these issues. So I think it'll be a good program if we can get that going in short order. And I've been meeting with the borough's engineer to discuss the continuation of our marine park plans and move forward with the parking lot relocation and greening of the existing parking lot. I anticipate an April bid specification advertisement and a May award of that bid for the work. We also met as a budget ad hoc committee. That ad hoc committee has been made up of myself, our CFO, Tom Seaman, Councilman Forrest, Council members Bonatakis, and Tracy Blackwood. So we sat down and went through parts of the budget, and we plan to meet again. As far as the schedule and calendar for our budget, April 16th would be, intro of the budget would be read on April 11th. If we stay on schedule with that, April 16th at 5 o'clock, which is a Tuesday. I believe the website's been updated on that, Laura, with the budget meeting or the budget presentation, not yet. All right, but we do have that date for April 16th at 5 o'clock, which is a Tuesday, and that'll be for a budget presentation by our CFO, myself, and with representatives of our ad hoc committee, and then adoption of our budget on April 25th is when we would have that slated for. Also, just wanted everybody to know that New Jersey Alliance for Action reached out and let us know that Montana Construction, who's been leading our lead service line replacement program, and along with the borough and Ingenuity, our engineer, were presented with an award actually today for the lead service line project. So once I have a little bit more information on that, I'll be sure to present that to the mayor. All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Jim. Do I have to close that out?
We're done.
All right, so then, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll see you all next time.
Cell phone games.
One picture.